Hi, my name's Sue and this is Sue Marie P. I like baking with spelt flour and this is a recipe that I've wanted to share for a while now. It's my 3-ingredient spelt flatbread. All you need is warm water, spelt flour, and today I'm going to do it with whole grain spelt flour, a little bit of salt and oil. That's it. So let's go over to the bench and start mixing it all together. So grab a large bowl and grab your spelt flour. I'm putting in 250 grams of whole grain spelt flour, and I'll pop some other measurements above for cups and ounces. In here I've got just warm water from the tap, 150 mils, so that all goes in. Depending where you live and what kind of flour you use, you may need to just adjust your water level. A little pinch of salt, and I like to put in 2 tablespoons of olive oil. And I'm just going to put in 1 to start and then use another one if I need it. And I just grabbed my spatula to start mixing it around. Now I've already noticed that I will need a little bit more oil, so I'm going to add another tablespoon of oil. If you're swapping the whole grain spelt for white spelt flour or white all-purpose flour, you may need to adjust the hydration. I find with the whole grain spelt flour, because of the grainy bits, you need more hydration, but you don't want too much, so you can still work with it. Now it's all mixed, I'm just going to go in with my hand. And making bread is so much about how it feels. You kind of get to know whether it's too wet, too dry. It needs to be kind of sticky but pliable, but not too sticky. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to add a little bit of flour to my bench here. Pop the dough on, turn the bowl upside down, and you can rest it for about 15 to 30 minutes depending on how soon you need to make it or cook it, or even up to 4 hours. So I'm going to leave it for about 15 minutes and then we'll start cooking. So we're back with our dough. The next step is I need to add a little bit more flour to the bench. One thing I discovered the other day, I bought potato flour and I've been using that because back in London I was using rice flour, but I don't have any here at the moment. So I bought potato flour, and having a finer flour, it's kind of easier for rolling. I bought myself a new rolling pin, so put a little bit of flour on that. This is meant to be a non-stick one. Grab your dough, and I'm going to divide it into 6 pieces. And so just go down the middle and do it roughly by eye, 6 even pieces. Just kind of like roll them into kind of a ball, ready for rolling with the rolling pin. But what we need to do is I need to swivel the camera around and turn on my fry pan to heat that up. So I'm going to put the fry pan on and heat it up for about 5 minutes. So I'm going to put it up to high, so that's on number 9. But what I'll do here is I've got a little bit of oil in this pot, and I've got my brush, and I'm just going to lightly grease the base of this fry pan. Because even though it looks like a non-stick, the oil will just help a little bit. And I'm going to brush the bread with a little bit of oil. So let's heat that up, and I'm going to swivel you back and show you how I roll the bread. So I'm going to roll one at a time. So I'm just going to grab my cloth and place it over the dough. Now I'm not the expert at making my bread look perfect. I think that's easier because then you don't feel like you need to be perfect either. So flatten it into a disc, grab your rolling pin and make sure there's flour on the bottom, and just keep rotating that a quarter turn. And the aim is to get the bread as flat as possible. And for some reason, I'm making like this square kind of shape and just flipping it over. And we're trying to get round. And as I'm doing it, I'm adding more flour to the bottom. You can use regular spelt flour or a little bit of whole grain. But I just find that the finer the flour, the better. Almost a circle. That's pretty good. Not completely necessary, but I'm going to grab some of this oil I just find that it helps bubble it up a bit more, but you can also fry it dry. And let me turn you to the fry pan. So I've picked up my bread. I'm going to flip that oil side down, and I'm going to grab this oil again and just brush the flatbread with a little bit of the oil. And depending on your cooktop and what kind of fry pan you're using, you may need to adjust your heat, and then it should start bubbling up. I may have put that in a little bit too early. The first one's always like the test one to get your temperature right on the stovetop. Got a few little bubbles appearing, which is fantastic. Let's double check the bottom. No brown spots yet. Let's check it out. A few little brown spots. I probably flipped it over a little bit too early. So over here I've got a plate ready with a bit of paper towel. So once this is cooked, I'm going to pop it on the paper towel. Give it a little bit longer on the other side. And then I'll cover it with my kitchen towel just to keep it warm, and that keeps the bread soft. That one's done. Just going to brush that other side with oil. And double check I don't burn it. Okay, that's ready to flip. Roughly takes a few minutes on either side. So all the cooking's done, and the flatbread is lovely and flexible and nice and thin. I almost achieved perfect circles today on most of them. I can't wait to have this tomorrow. We're going to have them as flatbread pizzas. This recipe is perfect for anyone that's wanting some flatbread that's simple to make at home, dairy-free, yeast-free, and you can just whip up within half an hour. Let me know what you think of my recipe. Give it a go, and don't forget to stick around. I'll pop a few other recipe ideas for spelt flour bread. Once again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.